Welcome back. This will be Population Ecology Part 2. Sorry, I ran out of time. I'm only limited to 15 minutes because I'm using a cheap little free program to record this. And I was looking at the corner of my screen with the time, and I was getting really close. I thought I could finish it. So, this will just be the second video. Where were we? Survivorship curves. We've got late loss. We've got early loss. We've got constant loss. Um, for late loss, for example, they are living longer and then they're starting to die off when they're old, as opposed to early loss, they are high in number and they die really, really quickly. So these are just reproductive strategies. So, like a dandelion, let's get in there, let's reproduce really, really fast. Most of them are going to die, but as long as a couple of them survive to pass on their genes, that's all they're looking for. Whereas these guys, they are surviving, maybe taking care of their young, they're growing old, and they're starting to die off. So this would be like humans and big mammals and birds and things like that. And this little chipmunk squirrel in the middle, it's just somewhere in between. And just remember that these aren't perfect curves. So there could be a species that goes like this, and it would just be a little bit more type 3 than type 2. There could be a curve that goes like this. All right, so we've got social interactions. I believe that's our next. Yeah, that's our next Roman numeral, social interactions. We've got something called interspecific competition. And if you look at these graphs over here on the right, you've got this little bacteria over here, and you've got this little bacteria over here, and then we are growing them together. And look what you see. It looks like Aurelia is giving Caudatum a run for its money, and Caudatum's population starts to drop because Aurelia is doing really good. So this is just competition between two different species, inter-specific, so two different species, and they're competing for space, resources, food, anything like that. And when this happens, one of the two species that are competing have to do either any of these things. They have to migrate to another place. Okay, you are doing better than I am, so I'm going to move away. They have to adapt, so okay, so you are gonna eat during the daytime. I can't compete with that, so I'm just gonna wait till you go to bed and I'm gonna eat at night. That would be like maybe an owl and a hawk, for example. Um, well, they could always go extinct. So, hey, guess what? You're doing way better than me. I'm just gonna go extinct because you're doing way better and I'm dead. Or they could evolve, which is kind of like adapting, but this is adapting their habits, behavior. Remember, habits or behavior don't get passed down. Evolution does get passed down, so maybe little mutations. This would take a long time, obviously, and then they could basically become slightly different and basically stop competing. So all of these things really stop the two species from competing. There's something called resource partitioning. And if you look, here's species one, here's species two, and there is a little bit of overlap. Here's on the bottom, it says seed size. So here's the big seeds, here's the little seeds, and there's a little bit of overlap for the medium seeds, and they're competing right here. And just competition leads to bad stuff. It's not in species' best interest to be killing each other and dying off. So what's going to happen over time is resource partitioning, and it's just they are developing specialized traits to stay alive instead of, like the last slide, it said that they have to do any of these. So one option to not do any of those is to partition their resources, to basically divvy it up. So they're going to learn how to use their resources at different times. So like your owl is going to hunt at night, your hawk is going to hunt during day in different places. So like, all right, I'm going to go hunt by the river, you're going to hunt in the forest, or in different ways. So it could be anything. It's super specific of what species you're talking about. But if you notice down here, after resource partitioning has happened, that overlap, it is gone. So it looks like species one is taking the cake when it comes to medium. So something happened. These guys moved over. They're still doing all right, but the medium seeds are going to species one. And that is all. So just a reminder, all of this information is going in Cornell Notes. Just make sure to have your Cornell Notes, just the notes section, ready to go for next class because we're actually going to be using it in class. So make sure to jot it down. If you need to rewind, go back to anything you missed. Make sure to bring any questions with you, not necessarily the questions in the left-hand side, but if something really still doesn't make sense, come ask me tomorrow in class and we'll talk about it. And we're going to use these notes. So thank you for tuning in. This has been an online lesson in APES. See you next time.